Well, what better way to enjoy our last few days in the Yukon than to go to BC? We are actually in the top northwesternmost point by road that you can go to in the province. And we were in Carcross earlier today. And we were going to take on a hike, but the road, unfortunately, was a little too rough for Walter, so we turned around. Holy! Oh. Clothes are coming out, drawers out.
Those bagels are hanging on for dear life up there.
And now we're here at one of our old favorites from last time we were up this way. And it's a holiday Monday, so got it pretty much to ourselves, and hopefully it stays that way this evening, because we're gonna have a good old-fashioned van life movie night tonight. Been wanting to do this pretty much since the first time we got the van, but that was 3 years ago and we still haven't done it. So that is what we're going to do tonight, and enjoy this lovely view of the lake beside us here as well. Just doing our mandatory scout of camp before we actually set up for the night. Well, Diesel's scouting of the camp. Every new place that we go to, he's got to walk the perimeter and check it out for whatever dogs are looking for. Pretty much poop and food that other people have left behind, so I'm pretty much just here to supervise and make sure he doesn't dig into either of those things. What's going on in here?
Organizing.
What's it like going from a lavish hotel for a couple weeks and then coming back to the van?
You know what? I don't know, I feel like this is home. So like it's comfortable having like a full bathroom, shower, and a bed to myself. But it's like not the same because it's just so temporary. But when I do go into the hotel room, my things are all over the place. Like I am not organized. I just feel like I'm a pro packer, and I just stay organized in between being here and being there, and it works. But I might need to donate some things soon. My carry-on's in the back, so I've taken all the clothes out of there, and I only bring a few outfits to switch out of, so sometimes I get tired of them, so now I've swapped them out. So now I've packed for when I leave in 2 weeks again, so it's kind of already done. And then all that stuff's in the carry-on, it can just stay under the garage. And then everything in here is just like the day-to-day stuff, but I do like to swap it out with my other things in my massive tote that is very full.
Yeah, the lid doesn't close anymore, I noticed.
No, it doesn't close. But the garage, like the underneath the bed, pushes it down, so I call that a win.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's not even close to shutting.
Well, you guys sit on it.
I had a feeling you might want to lie down on this. I had a feeling.
On the drink menu tonight, we're having some Pingos from Winterlong Brewing. It's a pale ale, one of our absolute favorites. I just gave the pint glasses a little bit of a rinse because they really, really needed it. We're getting that last taste of the Yukon. Cheers.
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 In my humble opinion, these Pingos are probably the best beer that you can get up here in Whitehorse. We have a very good chance of seeing the aurora tonight, but we still have to wait quite a few hours to get full darkness and our opportunity to see those lights. But we came to the conclusion that it would be great to be in the Yukon and see the northern lights. However, we are technically in British Columbia. We're in that little pocket in the most northwesternmost point between Skagway, Alaska and Carcross. So yeah, we're still technically in BC.
We forgot. So, we thought we were still in the Yukon.
It feels like we're in the Yukon because literally Carcross is only a couple minutes up the road from here. But
nevertheless, I think it'll just be beautiful to see them. We haven't seen them together in BC yet, so what better place to do it? And it's kind of our last night officially up here, so.
We're incredibly lucky. We've spent 2 months up here in the Yukon. Alana's been to and from because she's been flying out across Canada for work. And I've had the privilege of pretty much calling Whitehorse home for the last 2 months, Diesel and I. And we've made our little side trips towards Kluwani and to Atlin and have had an amazing time, but we're definitely glad it's the three of us together, finishing up our time up north. And it's one of those places, it just kind of takes a hold of you. If you've ever been up here, you know, you understand where we're coming from right now. It's a spell. The spell of the Yukon. We've had this projector for a while now. We have the screen and a Chromecast, and we've tried this once before, but unfortunately you need internet. So we do have Starlink, so we're gonna hook that up, and then yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a big screen here. Should be cool. Like if we left this here, duct tape cures everything.
Well, I know what I'm going to do for Halloween.
It ain't much, but it's honest work. I thought this screen was way bigger, but I think the van's just ginormous.
What should we watch? When all else fails, you watch The Office.
Yeah, pretty much. If there's one thing we'll always agree on, it's just turn on The Office. Powering the event tonight, we have the AC200 by Blue Eddy. This is our battery that powers our entire system here in the van. So more than enough power to power the projector, Starlink, and the Chromecast and all the other stuff that we're going to need tonight. So we're in good shape here for movie night. Aha! What a nice evening. This is wonderful. Diesel's trying some fishing tonight. He's just in his own world. Oh yeah.
Dinner is served.
Nice work. Thank you. Wow. So you may think, you come out here, you're camping, you got a fire, you got some good food. It's a relaxing evening. That's the objective, right? But no, when you got one of these things, it happened again. It hit 20%, hit critical low battery level. It's like we're landing whether you like it or not. I don't know, guys. This very well may be the death of me. We've had another crash. It's still functioning. I mean, this thing's not going to die. Knock on wood. But I didn't get it on camera this time. I was on the other side of the lake getting these nice sunset shots, and I was just able to steer it back to shore. I had to go for a little bit of a walk up the beach, but I was just able to land it in a bush. and retrieve it. But yeah, the batteries are just, they're done. Like you're supposed to have, I think, 35 minutes of flight time with these ones. Now the DJI 2, they're a little older, but this thing would keep going. If it weren't for the batteries, this thing is super durable, and I'm sure it would keep lasting, but it's the batteries. They have no life left, and usually once you hit that 20% warning level, it's supposed to let you just bring it back, but now it's just doing this thing where it's like, yeah, we're landing. You have no choice. We're landing. You can guide it back to where you are, but yeah, game over. Anywho, we got it. The drone lives to see another day. Oh, heck yeah. Nice. It's working. You inhaling it?
Yeah.
Popcorn. Nice.
Woo!
The movie is Breakfast Club. Hope you like it. We're finally doing movie night.
Finally. We've been talking about going to the movie theaters lately, so I think this will do. This is much better. Now we wait for the aurora. Just putting my contacts in this morning. It's a bit cool out today, but rest assured they're not frozen yet. A little chilly on the eyeball, but not frozen.
That time of year is coming. Hopefully we can avoid that time of year this year. You want to go for a stroll on the beach? We are patiently waiting for that sun to come over the mountains beside us. And when it happens, it is going to be glorious. It's a brisk one today. And I also think it might be time to get the Yeti mugs out. Although I do definitely prefer the taste of coffee from a ceramic mug. It doesn't stay hot for very long anymore, so.
You can drink it faster.
You just drink it faster, yeah. Gotta say, it almost seems a little wrong to not have the boat in the water right now, because this lake is not normally this calm. The winds on this lake, like again most mountain lakes, they pick up really fast. So I'm willing to bet in a few hours later in the morning this will be a lot windier on the lake. But
You can already see it starting to get that morning breeze.
yeah, a ripple in the middle. But we are gonna head a little further down the road, and there's a really cool hike right on the border that we're gonna tackle a little later today. Pretty amazing display of those northern lights last night. Started walking down the beach when it was quite dark outside, and got a cool couple of shots of the van with the Milky Way in the background, which I'm pretty stoked on. However, I did hear a pretty big thud coming from the bushes beside me. And so if you've ever been in a situation, you know, when you're younger and you're in a basement and have to shut the light off, and as soon as it gets dark, you start freaking out and have to run up the stairs and get back to light. I can't be the only one that's been there before, but that's kind of what it felt like. It was really dark outside and I was like, okay, time to go back to the van. But I have a feeling that last night will probably be one of my favorite evenings. You don't really notice it at the time, but that was pretty cool. Having a fire, watching a movie out here, seeing the stars like that, and the lights coming out to boot. Pretty amazing. Blueberry strawberry pancakes smothered in peanut butter, and Alana boiled down some blueberries and strawberries with maple syrup and kind of made a jam out of it. So, bon appetit. You guys want a bite? Try it out. Okay, bye. Bye. Gotcha. There you go. I'll get him down, then I'll come up. Help you. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
He's going for the water. So we were worried about him coming down that stretch. So we guided him down, and then we got here and he scaled all this by himself. Atta boy. Woo! We have found the blueberries. Hey, bear. Hope you don't mind sharing. We keep getting glimpses of the really jagged, sawtooth-looking peaks, the coastal mountains further up ahead that you see when you drive into Skagway. And they're just insane. They're just still so much snow up there and massive glaciers throughout. It's wild. But ever since we did our river trip, we've been just looking into, new challenging routes that we can do, that the stuff that is more difficult and takes a little longer time. And we didn't really get to do the really difficult hike that we wanted to because we couldn't access it yesterday in the van. But even just getting out for a day hike like this, it's still great. I mean, a lot more planning and whatnot goes into those longer distance hikes and paddle routes and all that stuff. But yeah, you really can't complain with this. If you ever get the chance to make the drive from Whitehorse to Skagway, I can safely say this is Definitely top 3 my favorite drives that I've ever done. And we've been to a few places. We still got lots to explore, but we've seen quite a bit up here. And even after all that, yeah, I can definitely say one of the best drives. Everywhere you look, it's good. There's no bad parts. You can really describe it as no man's land, because between that stretch of BC where Yukon and Alaska kind of sandwiches that last little bit of British Columbia, the terrain just changes so much, and it's just these boulders and valleys and crazy mountains, and you can just see how recently or not so recently that ice carved out this area and just left behind these giant boulders and these rock formations. It's just incredible.
Just met a nice couple, and they had a dog named Jill. She was 11 and super cute, and her and Diesel were, let's just say, playing for a long time, being very flirtatious with one another. So that was fun. I think he's going to sleep really well. But yeah, it was really nice to meet them and hang out up here in the mountains, and now we're just going to head back to the van and drive and find somewhere to camp.
Make some sandwiches.
Make some sandwiches. All right, let's go, you little horn dog. This is literally him on a dog humping.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, if this was the dog, he put his head in there and then he just would go.
This is a family-friendly channel. There. Get up.
Good boy.
If you guys have been watching for a little while, you know that I've grown quite the interest in these old structures, and you find a absolute ton of them up here in the Yukon and just the north in general. But we're coming up to it here. I had to make sure Alana and Diesel were okay, because there's not actually a pull-off to get to this site anymore, so I'm backtracking a little bit down the highway. Well, I can already tell I've made a great mistake in wearing the Crocs over here. We found a spot to pull over, so Alana and Diesel are in the van just up the road about 1 kilometer. And I was too excited to get over here and check this out. And during that excitement, I did not change into my hiking shoes. And seeing how steep this is, I think that was not the right choice. So I brought my main camera with me, but I may have to cache it up here because it is probably not a good idea sliding down with it in my hand. What a crazy structure. And you can see the other half at the top of the hill. Last year we actually hiked up there. If you guys remember that one, with our buddy Sandro. And I have also in my other pocket my bear spray because the day after we had said goodbye and finished that hike together, there was a very healthy sized grizzly bear on the side of the road, we were told, where he was picking raspberries. So they are here, so I had to be prepared for that. Can't say I recommend this one. I think I'm gonna store this right here. That'll be safe there, right? The amount of time and craftsmanship it would go into making something like this. Hang on. And it's been standing for a very long time, so knock on wood, we've got lots to knock on. It's not going to be coming down today, so we can only hope for the best, right? But I honestly find going down this is a little more step that I can step down, a little more gradual than just sliding down the scree on the side of the building here. So that's the plan of attack I've chosen here today. Look at that. But what they would do is mine in the tops of these mountains here and then bring it down to the water here for transport. I couldn't pass up a chance to go explore what is essentially just a giant tree fort, and pretty cool. But this must have been just the housing. You can see the wheels, a giant pulley system bringing the ore from the tops of the mountains down here. It's pretty wild to think, even before the road was here and before the mining venture started, where I'm standing right now, where we camped last night, would have been several hundred feet under big slabs of ice. And these lakes, these long, narrow, they're essentially scars just cut out of the land when the ice retreated. And you can still see the glaciers, not nearly as massive as they once were, but you can still see how grand they are even today. These big giant wind tunnels, if you ever try and paddle these lakes, it's hard to imagine. Bennett Lake, all the ships, the hastily built ships that people would bring all of their stuff to make it to the gold fields during the gold rush as well. I feel like this entire summer we've just kind of following in the footsteps and seeing all of these different landmarks, you know, paddling the river and seeing these lakes and, you know, the Chilkoot Pass and all of these places that people once risked their lives just to hopefully strike it rich, and it still just boggles my mind. It almost seems like a fairy tale, like it's made up, the stuff that people would have had to go through at one point just for that hope of striking it rich. And you know, that's just what makes it such a magical place. You know, the people, there's books written about this place, there's poems, and you know, the people that have been here and visited, and it's true, it takes a hold of you, it really does. This is our third time up here, and it most certainly won't be our last. Very special place. We haven't even left yet, and I already can't wait to come back. Well, last night we made the drive into Watson Lake, and we wanted to do a little re-up today, get some showers and some groceries. And this little town is usually the starting off point, or in our case, the ending point for a great Yukon adventure. But although I did say I was a little melancholy yesterday because we were leaving the Yukon, that feeling was short-lived because we are now going back into British Columbia down the Stewart-Casier Highway, and we're going to tackle a few new roads that we haven't yet done. So I'm really looking forward to what's to come over the next few weeks. But since we're in town, there's just one last thing that we need to check up on. Had to come check on the old sign. Looks like even after 3 years of weather and rain, it's still doing good. And Diesel's paw print. That wasn't the smoothest part of creating this, that's for sure. We had to include a little bit of a nail action just so everyone would know what it was. Every time we come through here, I have to go check it out and see how it's doing. It may be portrayed as the touristy thing to do, but you know what? When you put that many miles or kilometers, whatever side of the line you came from, you've earned it at this point. Make yourself a sign and leave your mark. And also, every time I take a walk through here, I feel like I'm seeing new ones. There's over 100,000 signs here now. Pretty awesome. People from all over the world.